Welcome to the MaliceCast TV Talk for The Walking Dead. This is not the cast about all things nerd. This is the cast about all things zombie and guts and gore and whatever else they throw at us on AMC's The Walking Dead. Thank you so much for coming and joining us on the cast. The cast is brought to you by our website, malice-corp.com. All the geeks and nerds from over there that write up stuff, please check them out and drop us a comment letting us know how we're doing and if there's things we can do better. But until then, let's talk about who's on the cast with us today. So you have me, Mess5150, who's always here hosting. I also have, along with me, Mr. ICZorro joining us.
What's going on, folks? Just watched the episode and the post-show today and have been reading a ton of the comics lately, so nuanced views, hopefully.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, you guys have been catching up where I'm far behind, but I still know what kind of goes on from reading other things. We also have Mrs. Malice joining us on the cast, our Dead Head aficionado.
Yes, the blood and guts loving person. Gotta love some zombie guts.
This is the tiptoeing dead. She may not watch it. So
she would prefer the stomping dead for sure.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. She definitely loves things with blood and guts spilling all over the place and people punching each other in the stomach and ripping out guts, as happened a few episodes ago with Morgan. So, but yeah, I want to get some views about this episode because we're going to be discussing last night's episode. If you're watching today, if you're watching later, it may have been a few days ago episode, but it is season 8, episode 11, Dead or Alive or something
between, ellipses.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So is the title of the episode. I felt that this was the first dragging episode that we got of the second half of the season. Everybody's been talking about how the second half has been really, really good. And I felt this was the filler that was expected to come at some point.
Yeah. Hopefully they won't try to do another one because it was extremely slow and boring. Like I almost didn't want to watch it.
There, inevitably, in any half season that they do, there's one episode that is people going from one place to another. And this was that episode. This was how did they get back? What tribulations did they face along the way? We did have at least one medium weight death. But yeah, overall, it was just how did people get from one place to another? And I honestly, while I was watching, I was like, oh man, we got to fill an hour about this one.
We're definitely gonna. Well, yeah, exactly. So I was like, how are we gonna talk an hour about this? But
we'll make it.
Will be a cast that discusses a lot of things that are going on in the Walking Dead world of news because there's not a lot to talk about in the episode. What did you think, Miss Malice? You thought it was a pretty slow.
It was very slow, and it was just so like seeing some parts of it, yeah, bringing back the whole Carl's death towards the end of the episode, or I think it was, I guess, towards the center of it, where they finally get to Hilltop, and Maggie and Olivia, and they find out what happened to Carl. So
that's right at the end.
Yeah, it's more towards the end. Like I said, it was a boring episode, so I wasn't really paying attention to how everything was going.
I assumed that it would have been an amazing episode to you because it was the first time we got Daryl in a while where he was extended throughout the episode.
Yeah. And he was wet and sweaty too.
Yes, and he was being Daryl.
On that note, being Daryl, this is the first time in the series in a long time that he has his crossbow back officially from Dwight. So that was nice to see.
Very happy to see that.
Yeah.
So he's gotten the vest, he's gotten the crossbow. Yep. I think Easy Street is out of his head now.
And all he needs is his motorcycle back, and we're got our Daryl back.
Didn't that blow up?
And now I remember. And now Easy Street's back in my head, so thanks for that.
Easy Street.
Well, let's talk about the two themes. I don't want to get too much in detail, but there really was two themes. So just to kind of talk about what the synopsis of the show was, you had 3 main stories for the most part. Your first one was Gaberiel with Dr. Carson trying to get to the Hilltop. The second story that was major in it was what was left of Alexandria trying to get to the Hilltop. And the third was Negan trying to find out what happened and get Eugene back to making it so that he could get things right in his mind, which is taking back over and saving everybody, like he says.
Nimble and made.
Yeah. So first, and that one we'll key in on a little later because that one has the biggest comic book comparison of all in that story with Negan. But first and foremost, Gaberiel. Gaberiel and Dr. Carson. Where do you think Gaberiel's at? Because at this point, Gaberiel is not doing nothing but pushing faith. As long as you have faith, and
the episode was helping that.
Yeah, everything that could go right was going right. I mean,
for him, and it kind of made him think, like God is guiding me through this. He has a plan. I can see it.
Well, kind of see it.
Yeah, because as we know,
it got smashed.
Yeah, and as we know, and just to let you know, I apologize for not letting this be known at the beginning, but you should be aware of this already. This is a spoiler cast. Yes, we will be talking spoilers. We will be talking about what's going on in the show, so we haven't given up too much yet, but more is going to happen. So as we learned, Gaberiel's losing his eyesight. Dr. Carson's talking about how he shouldn't have brought him along, that he's really, really sick, and Gaberiel keeps giving up this.
And he looks
have faith. He makes the joke of God's walking along with them and leaving the footprints.
And that's the first place where you can see, like, he's in a delirium. He's like, oh yeah, we should probably invite God into the truck. All these footsteps along the side of it, they're gonna follow us real easy.
And I think
at one point the footsteps turned to bear traps. So,
and that's the funny. The delirium would have been even much better if it would have been like, yeah, he's walking along with us and starts laughing, and then he looks at the zombie that's crawling up next to him, and he's like, hey, do you know how to get to such and such? Starts asking.
I think it would have been even funnier if it was what's his name, Paul, and he looked down and he went, Jesus.
I want to welcome to the chat. We have Polyfuse in the chat. I'm curious if you watched the episode this time, Polyfuse, as you didn't watch it last week when we talked about it. And we have Super Hoovian Nut joining us in the chat. So I'll be bouncing back to those to see what things they have to say. So thank you so much for joining us on the Dead Talk.
As far as where is Gaberiel right now, I think he has vacillated back and forth on the show so much. When we first met him, he was in a crisis of faith. He had lost his faith in God, and he had done all these terrible things to his own congregation, locking them out of the church to save himself. And he's finally gotten back to the point where he's like, man, you know what? Trust in God all the time. And he's pushing it hard through the episode. And things keep going right. He gets blinded and accidentally knocks a piggy bank off the thing that has keys and a map. Like, seriously. And even Dr. Carson's like, you got to be kidding me.
And they get the antibiotics to help him feel better too.
Absolutely.
So. One quick thing, guys. I saved the best for last. We have Masonic Vader in the chat room, and the only reason I said the best for last is is his birthday today. So, happy birthday, Masonic Vader!
Happy 83rd birthday.
Yes, he does. You look every bit 100. So.
Mrs. Malice, I'm gonna need you to do the Marilyn Monroe now.
No, Wes can do that.
But yeah, so they find this cabin in the woods, which is never a good thing in something having to do with zombies. And they keep coming across things that are nothing but helpful for Gaberiel. They come across medicine for Gaberiel, like, oh my God, there's antibiotics. And then they accidentally break open this piggy bank, and there's car keys and a map, and it's like,
and they discovered he was a ham radio operator that was sending transmissions to everybody, so they can maybe scavenge that stuff. Like, it's a gold nugget in the middle of everything that's surrounded by camo netting.
Here's where the thing started to go wrong, though, with that when they found it, because he heard the sound of the sign hitting the metal thing, which led them to it, and then he looked at the sign and was able to see the warning about the traps.
That was one of the questions that I had about that episode.
What was in terms of
the fact that they didn't read that sign when they were walking into the house?
The doctor must have been blind too.
That's called the MacGuffin. So
you're not wrong. Yeah.
But yeah, they get out. There's traps. The doctor gets caught in the traps. The zombies are coming. Gaberiel runs over bear traps.
he what's his name? Daredevil's his way through it. Just yeah. Miraculously ends up not hitting anything, and then takes a blind shot at a walker, just using faith as a crosshair, apparently.
Yeah. Well, walking over the bear traps, I guess, was like walking on water.
Yeah. Well, and then Gabriel
Didn't he step on 2 of them?
Yeah, he stepped on 2 of them. Now, I watched the making of episode, behind the scenes type of thing, and those traps were built out of aluminum, so that's how they were able to make them look realistic by coloring them up and stuff like that, but not have them hurt anybody.
I didn't think they were using real bear traps.
Oh no, of course, but it wasn't foam. They were still, using something that they had a small spring on them so they could still close. And yeah,
we got a little comment from our producer Jack Malice. He says, "Mess doing the Marilyn Monroe, not just no, but hell to the effing no."
Yeah, I will agree with that one. Polyfuse says Sabers have learned to shoot by watching stormtroopers training videos.
Yeah.
Which this was the first episode where a savior did not die in the entire season. So I'm sure Mrs. Malice was a little sad about that, because that's a little less blood and gore for her. But yeah, so Gaberiel gets out there. Dr. Carson's getting attacked by zombies, trying to fight him off, and Gaberiel turns into a Jedi and does the close your eyes trick that Luke did to shoot the zombie in the head.
The Force is strong in that one.
Yeah. So everything seems to be okay with them, and then the saviors come, and Dr. Carson gets shot in the scuttle. Scuttle.
Because Dr. Carson had started thinking along the same lines as Gaberiel. He'd seen so many little signs that, oh my God, there's something guiding us right now. Everything keeps going our way. And he kind of turns to Gaberiel and he goes, you know what? I got this. And through Gabriel's weirdly semi-blinded vision, we see him reaching for a gun in a holster and hear a shot, and then he's dead.
Yeah. So do you guys see the horrible writing that is here with doctors in the show? Have you caught that?
You can't have a doctor in the show, apparently.
Not that at all.
I believe one of the comments that I saw online was, hey, look, another doctor's dead. Almost as bad as Judith's babysitters.
Yeah. Whoever babysits Judith seems to die.
So the first doctor introduced to us was Denise, and she died a couple episodes later once Carson and his brother were introduced. And then Carson's brother died a couple episodes later after showing him. And who did we introduce as a doctor 2 weeks ago?
The guy that Carl saved.
Sadiq.
So Sadiq says,
they're like relay racers. They hand off the baton. Like, I'm done. Here it's you.
So
and Herschel was a vet too from later.
Yes, Herschel was the de facto doctor.
Yeah, a doctor. So there we go.
And so apparently they have compared the writing of The Walking Dead to the Harry Potter books, because you can't have one without the other. Like, you can only have one at a time. So if a doctor shows up, the other doctor's going to die.
It's like Sith. There's a master and an apprentice. That's all.
Yeah. So do you think Sadiq's days are numbered if they introduce another doctor? Is what I'm asking.
If we find another doctor, Sadiq is done.
Because he's not even a full-on doctor. He was a doctor in training too. So yeah, he's gonna go quick. He's gonna get his own needle in his eye or something.
And I know this is sort of leading toward or talking about the end of another of the storylines. But at the end of the show, when Sadiq was telling Maggie, "Hey, I've got some medical training. If I can get help out or whatever," I kind of thought, like, is she thinking, well, if we got another doctor, then Carl's sacrifice might have been worth it?
Yeah.
Because doctors are one of the most important professions that can possibly be in the zombie apocalypse.
Oh yeah.
That and myself, who can make wine.
I want to pose this question to you guys because it's an interesting thought, but I don't know how well it works. But Polyfuse posed that had they lit the horde of zombies on fire before leading them to the Savior's compound, it would have been a different show. A flaming horde of zombies destroys all. But would the zombies make it through or just turn into a pile of ash before they got through anything?
I think if grenades didn't do it, then probably flaming zombies against a steel wall or tin wall probably not going to help as much.
Because of the way the building. Now, if they were in like houses like Alexandra, that would have worked because it's wood.
And Jack brings up, for all our Supernatural fans, wait, so is Buck Lemmings writing for Walking Dead now and just replacing doctors for women?
Pretty much, yeah. Anytime you see a doctor on the show, they're going to be horribly mistreated.
And Polyfuse says they're still
written
juicy.
by those people.
And Polyfuse says they're still juicy, so that's probably why the zombies would last a little bit longer if they got lit on fire.
God, just imagine the smell, though.
And for everybody that is joining us here live on the Twitch channel, you may be wondering why I'm reading off what's going on. That's for you if you come to watch the videos later on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/Malice Corp. But it really is much funner to be here live talking everything we talk about live and join us in the live chat. So thank you for being here. So let's go into the second major story that happened in the show. The second one was Alexandria, what was left of them traveling to the hilltop. And we have Faith as the first major focus. This one was really seemed to be about vengeance, in my opinion.
Vengeance and distrust. Yeah.
So the main focus of it is as they're traveling along, we're constantly getting distrust for Dwight from Tara and wanting to kill him.
You know,
Here's my question on that for both of you. Mrs. Malice, do you trust Dwight at this point to have Rick's group, the Alexandrians, as his primary focus? Do you believe that what he's saying, that he just wants to see Negan dead, and after that, whatever?
I kind of am starting to favor Dwight more. I'm starting to trust him more. So yeah, I would trust him because, he had it bad for Negan. I mean, he got his face burned, got his wife stolen, and all that. And he's had so much done to him. So I would trust Dwight, especially after seeing this episode. I would really trust him.
Yeah. And in the chat room, we mentioned Buck Lemmings, so Super Hoovian's going crazy in the chat room about them. And Jack says that burning zombies smell like flaming barbecue dog food.
And also bags of stuff that you leave on people's porches.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh.
I agree with you, Mrs. Malice. I do trust Dwight. More so, once again, on the vengeance aspect of it. He's lost more because of Negan than he ever could lose with Rick's group. All he can lose is his life now. He's lost his wife, and it's been taken away from him. Is the torture that he's gone through with the iron and the constant mental games that were played against him. I mean, he went through the same aspect as Daryl, but conformed.
Well, it's not just mental games. Like, and I don't want to bring the books too much into the show because they are very different things.
Oh yeah.
But in the books, Negan calls out to Dwight. He says, I saw that she was going to left you as soon as you guys got here. That girl was a power climber. She was going to find some way to get in power, no matter what. In the show, we didn't see that as much. Like, she's much more sympathetic. Mm-hmm. In this episode, Dwight calls out to Daryl. She's the one that let you go. She's the one that gave you the key and then ran away. But overall, like, since Dwight has made his alliance with the Alexandrians, we have not seen him put one foot wrong. Everything he has done has been for the benefit of the Alexandrians or to bring Negan down. He's talking the truth when he said yes.
He said
absolutely.
It.
Wait until we get that twist later on the show where he's actually, been helping Negan all this time.
Well, what ends up happening is he directs them through the swamp to where there's a bunch of zombies just in a hot tub, basically in the swamp water, chilling.
By the way, best zombies we've seen in a long time. Yeah. They had full-on mushrooms growing out of their necks.
What was it? The sand zombies or the ocean zombies with the barnacles?
Sure. Yeah. Well, those were a little more Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. Like, wait, where's Johnny Depp?
So
Bootstrap zombie.
Watching The Talking Dead after The Walking Dead, one of the questions that they had for people was, how do you think, or I think it was Steve Agee, he said, why do you think all those zombies were even in that swamp? I don't get it. I have a pretty simple explanation for that. Zombies wander around like random.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that were in there got stuck.
Yeah. That's what I thought too. And that was another question I saw posed online as well. Is like, how did those zombies get there? Is Negan just throwing dead bodies into the swamp? And I'm just like, no, they're gonna wander and they're gonna get their muscle structure is gone.
They ping pong everywhere.
Yeah, they could have been chasing somebody through the woods too, and person got through the mud faster than the zombies did, and they got stuck. That could have happened.
To be fair, they were pretty evenly spaced throughout the water.
Yeah, I think they did that so Daryl and what's his name?
Yes,
stab him in the head.
And also, one of the questions that they had on Talking Dead, and I don't want to bring the after show for that into it too much, but they had a really good question. Would you follow Daryl through a zombie infested swamp? I think he's the one person I would follow through a zombie infested swamp.
Ask me that question because I'm going to say Daryl every time.
Yeah.
I'll follow him.
I don't know what was going on with Rosita and the comfortable sweatpants, because those you never wear baggy pants in a zombie apocalypse walking through the woods. So
or in a New York club, Plexico Burris.
And how long is it taking for her chest to heal? It's been quite a while, hasn't it? Since
it's moving. It seems like quite a while because the season's so long, but it's only been, I think, since the beginning of the season,
only a week or two,
if that. I don't even think it's been that yet. I think
it's really been a short amount of time. Yeah.
But it seems like everyone else's scars heal quicker. Maybe her number's up or something. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I think that's just. Maybe she's cosmetically, she wants to cover it up.
Jack Malice says 323.1 million people in the U.S. Some of those, if they're zombies, are going to end up in a swamp pretty
Yeah, exactly. So they go through, as they're going through the swamp and stuff, Tara stays back with Dwight and takes her opportunity to try and kill him. And he ends up, the Saviors pop up and he jumps out and directs the Saviors away and is now back with Negan, which there's two problems to this that I want to know from you guys. One, go ahead.
Before we even get to that, I had a little bit of a problem with Daryl leaving Tara with Dwight.
Yeah.
Because he looked her in the eyes and said, don't mess with him. He stays alive for now. But come on, if you leave her alone with him, she had a very thin excuse. Like, no, I just want to make sure everybody's still safe here while you go and do the thing.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. You know what she's doing.
You know what she's like too. She was very, very much in love with what was her name? Denise, right?
Denise, yeah.
Yeah. And Dwight had shot her through the.
And Daryl is the Rambo of the zombie apocalypse, according to Polyfuse.
Yes.
He is the Rambo.
Well, I would say Dwight might be.
Yeah, that too. But so she has a very, very, very good excuse to be very mad at Dwight.
Well, and let's put that into perspectives on that, because that's what I wanted to kind of question is one, Dwight's put himself in a really bad spot by going back with the Saviors because Lauren's not there yet, but she's got to pop up at some point. She didn't die. Nobody really dies off screen when they have a name.
Didn't he asked about her?
He asked about her.
Okay.
But she knows that he was double agent against him. So that doesn't look good for Dwight. Mm-mm. On the second side of things, Tara, yes, very much in love. Her love got killed and she's out for revenge on it. But at the same time, this is the woman that came from the group of the governors. Yeah, she didn't kill any of Rick's group, but Herschel, he was the governor's group killed him and she was part of it. So if anybody should understand retribution, it should be Tara. And I just can't.
If anybody should understand the forgiveness of retribution,
yes,
she should understand that. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a poor move to leave her there with a clear vengeance motive and vengeance opportunity.
Do you think you were starting to see that when he stepped out and led them away? Because the look on her face gave me that maybe she was kind of.
Well, that's the thing. After the experience where so what you were getting to talking about, she's about to kill him. She's got a gun to his head. After killing the walkers that were coming at them, she's got a gun to his head, and some saviors show up because they decided to check the swamp for the Alexandrians. And Dwight steps out, and you got to wonder at first if she's thinking just shoot him now because maybe he's going back to them. But he leads them away. He says, no, they're definitely not going that way. I checked. They're going off that way. Let's go. And then she becomes almost a converted believer. There are no more fervent believers than the converted.
Yeah. And that's very good proof of how Dwight is, actually on their side. It's really good proof because all he could have said, she's right there, when he's like, no, they went this way, and led them away. I mean, yeah, he put himself with the saviors again, but at the risk of keeping their group, the Alexanders, safe. So,
did you notice how long he still had his one good arm up in the air when the saviors found him? Like, he was worried they were going to shoot him immediately.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, put your arm down. Oh,
where you been, man?
Oh, hey, D, come on back, man. You want a gun? Cool, let's go.
Yeah, lead the way. You know what's going on. Yeah.
Where's your best, man?
And they're talking about zombie bears in the chat room that Polyfuse, whenever he comes across them, is screwed. So,
actually, the Polyfuse comment that I like the best is Dwight is Eugene if Eugene had some balls. Put in a terrible situation, but Eugene is a survivor and a coward, and Dwight is a survivor and an opportunist.
Yep.
Yeah. And so but yeah, that was my wondering on that, is just that Tara should be able to forgive this type of thing or come to somewhat of terms.
I think she has.
Yeah. And then
do you think the rest of them are going to, though? Do you think the rest of the group still trust or will trust Dwight?
Rosita does.
I think everybody does but Daryl.
Well, and then you got Rosita seeing that.
Look at what Daryl yelled as soon as
Daryl went off.
Yeah, he's probably telling them everything right now, and it's like no, and it was Tara that had to calm him down.
Yeah, Daryl said something along the lines of, "Next time I see that mother," and she's like, "No, we're good now."
Okay.
The other little small story before we get to Negan. And once again, like I said, both Mrs. Malice and ICZorro have been catching up on the comic books. There are two fantastic ways that you can catch up on the comic books. One being that if you want the actual paper volumes of them, reach out to our friends at Turbo Comics in Idaho. They are the premier comic shop for Idaho. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Twitter. If there's something you're looking for to fill the gap in your comic book collection, they will find it for you and mail it out to you. You don't have to live there. Or if you just want to order it from Amazon, please head over to malice-corp.com, click on any of the Amazon links at the bottom of any of our articles, and you can go shop to your heart's content on Amazon. It helps us out. You still get all the stuff that you're looking for, and let us know what you got. If there was Walking Dead purchases that you got to complete your collection, hit us back up on the comments and the chat and let us know what you got. We love hearing that type of stuff. But yeah, the other little side story that was going on was the hilltop itself. So we had...
Why is Gregory still alive?
Well, we had Maggie again, finally, that we haven't seen for a while. And a little bit of Henry Morgan.
Creepy ass kid.
Yeah, it just...
I told you, it's the new Carl.
It is. It looks like that's who they're setting up.
No, Carl was innocent and precocious and doing his own thing. This kid is a straight up murderer.
He's gonna become a little blacksmith.
And why didn't they take the stick away from him? That's the one thing I asked. He just killed a guy by stabbing him through the neck. Why is he still holding the stick?
With blood on it.
I want to know why Morgan decided to lie to him about who killed his brother. Do we remember who actually killed his brother? Wasn't it?
It was the guy that was calling him creepy.
And the guy that was handcuffed. he actually killed his
Oh,
brother.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I think I know why. It's so that Henry stops wanting to kill the guys in the pen.
Well, maybe he was getting a note from Carol that Carol was right in her right mind when she was telling him that this is not the right way to do things. You're going to turn him into just a killer.
Carol's the best with children. Yeah.
Yeah. And she'll be telling him to look at the flowers.
Henry's just lucky there's no flowers near the hilltop.
No, there are. They're outside the hilltop. Remember, Maggie was,
So it's the creepy dude that's locked in that one cage who's taunting them. That's the one that killed his brother. Because I couldn't remember. Yeah,
the one that what we've deemed the good savior has kept telling to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
So, and once again, the good savior negotiates a little bit of we need to get out of the pen that you're holding us in. But the biggest part of Hilltop that was, I think, the most important part is, for once, and I know it's a cowardly comment, but Gregory kind of made a point that it's like, let's just get away from all of this. And
no, Gregory made a self-serving point. As soon as Maggie gave him an inch, because he kind of suggested the whole, hey, let us out. Or at least I'm sure was behind that suggestion. As soon as she said, you know what, you guys get a little bit of exercise, you can be under armed guard, he immediately went, you know what? He asked for more immediately. Gregory is a snake. Gregory is a mental cancer. He is Grimer Wormtongue.
Maybe he should take up a doctorate and, become the next doctor.
Well, it's funny that's
the absolute best comparison. He's Grimer Wormtongue.
Yes, he is. But it's funny that in the last 2 weeks, we've gotten the same plan offered to both sides. Negan got it from Simon saying we should just go and restart. And now Gregory's getting it, or I'm sorry, Maggie's getting it from Gregory going, we should just go and not fight him and not deal with it.
And honestly, Gregory's makes more sense because Simon was saying, we can go farther out, find different communities, but they still have their same base in the same place. Gregory's saying, let's leave this base, find something else that might work. But the comment that Maggie had in retaliation, he said, how can we win? She said, look around, dude. Yeah. And you hear the entire time, you're hearing sounds of construction in the background. This is a community that's thriving, that's building, that's growing. She says, look around. How can we lose? And I mean, well, overwhelming numbers is the answer, but
Yeah, and that's the thing is don't get too high and mighty because already 2 of your 3 communities have basically been taken out. The kingdom is done. Alexandria, everybody left and moved there, and numbers wise on the show, it didn't look like there was very many Alexandrians left coming versus in the comics when it's like a good chunk of waves. So I don't know if they're like
in the show it looked about 30. Yeah. But at the same time, you got to remember the Savior's stronghold, the sanctuary, got run through by a herd. So there's not a ton of them left, but they had a bunch of outposts as well. So we don't actually know how many Saviors there are at this point.
Yeah. What do you think Maggie's thinking on all this is, Mrs. Malice? Do you think that she's in the right mindset of that we can take on anything and everything that comes at us?
Yeah, she is, because that's Maggie.
But that we talked about being a good leader last week and making sure that your people are safe as part of that, knowing what's going to come, because all the Saviors are coming at them.
Maggie's still the strongest leader of all the areas,
and eventually she'll probably. God, I can't describe this. I think that she's a good leader, and what she's deciding, like, she'll go and think about it, and once she's thought about it, she'll make the right choice. So even though he's telling her to do something, she's like, no, just look around.
Well, that raises the question, what is, in your opinion, what's the right choice? What should they do?
Stay.
Okay.
Because even if they go, the Saviors are going to chase them down anyways.
Well, it's all about opportune times. So if you wait, they're going to chase you down. But if you have the time of advantage to get away. You know,
Well, that's
Maybe
sort of
not wait to be attacked too is another thing too.
well.
He
The
was
the timing of things sort of leads us into the third storyline of the show, which is that Negan now has Eugene making bullets full time.
Mhm.
well, that's his plan.
That is definitely his and it's Eugene. He's going to go along with whatever's going to help him survive, and he gets kind of uppity about it too. He's kind of a dick to the hot girl that comes up to him,
Yeah.
like, "Hey, what can I do for you?" He's like, "Bring me some lunch, like right now, and also lunch for them. What do you want? Eggs with? I don't want an omelet. I want a scramble
Well,
with some tomato."
isn't she one of the wives that knows that Eugene kind of?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I thought that was why he was being that way. Was that it was like, it, you know, don't let what I did before be known. I'm gonna.
Based on Eugene's past behavior, I took that as straight up arrogance, asserting himself, saying. I think it wasn't so much saying don't let anybody know we were in cahoots before, so much as, you know what, I'm in charge now. So whatever you thought there was before, suck it. Give me some breakfast.
Well, it feels like they're trying to. Here's the problem. We talked about this earlier. Do we trust Dwight? We trust Dwight. For the most part.
I trust Dwight 100 times more than Eugene.
And that's the thing is, it feels like they're trying to keep that trust to the viewers with Eugene because they keep like, oh well, he's just extending stuff out by saying we can't build enough bullets on time. Like he's doing everything to make it so.
Oh, I don't feel like that's an excuse at all. I feel he's being straight up 100% honest. Like, we're gonna have some delays here. I need more workers, whatever. But I'm gonna do what you want 100%. I don't think that's an excuse in any way. I think he's giving him the straight dope.
And I do want to mention this comment when we were talking about Gregory. Polyfuse says Gregory follows the rule of Monty Python. Run away!
And Jack says, not sure about rule number 3 from Zombieland. Beware of bathrooms. I just like all the rules from Zombieland. Cardio, very important.
Yes.
Double tap.
Absolutely.
Double tap.
Always double tap.
But you know, and we get the blind bullet maker now because Gaberiel's blind, and that's what he's made to do. And you see Eugene get this little fear that Gaberiel gave him up, and he didn't. He, you know.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
I wonder, did they work that story out ahead of time, or did Gaberiel just realize that was the best excuse? Dr. Carson was the one that got me out. That's it.
That I don't know. I think that's what he just used as an excuse.
Well,
so.
Well, if Gaberiel used that as an excuse too, he used it as an opportunity to have, you know, because Eugene already helped him.
Mhm.
So why give up the person that really helped him and cause another death, or have someone that can probably maybe get him out again if it's possible?
I never actually thought Gaberiel was going to give Eugene up. I thought he was going to come up with something. I'm just wondering about the fact that it was so coincidentally the same thing as what Eugene said.
Yeah.
And yeah, Polyfuse says Eugene will blow himself up and the bullets up when he finally grows a pair, is my guess. So, I mean, they could be setting up Eugene to be a sacrificial lamb to try and make.
Well, here's the thing. We still have the final scene of the episode to cover, and there's a lot of mileage right in that. But I also kind of want to ask, especially Mrs. Malice, since you've been reading the books and catching up as much as I have, you're not. You know, you're past the Negan storyline as I am. Do you think?
Still in it, kind of, because it just got to the Whisperers. So
Okay, yeah, okay.
Going with Negan.
Sure. But I mean, do you think that? Do you think that because in the comics, Eugene is still a bullet maker, but he hasn't been captured by Negan at that point. He's just full out producing bullets for the communities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you see a parallel? Like, do you think at some point that's going to be switched back over? Like, are they going to accept Eugene back in because he is so valuable if and when Negan goes down?
God, I don't know, because of how badly he messed up in that situation, you know, with Rick. Call him Nick. Oh my God. That was me mixing Negan and Rick together. It was so badly what he's done and everything, but at the same time, he's so on the fence. Like, I don't know. I don't think they probably would take him back because he can make bullets, and that's something they need.
And I think you have to, like, Yeah, do you treat him like the saviors were treating Dr. Carson? Like, we might not like you, might keep you under guard, but you have a valuable skill. We need you for this.
They all need him.
I think that's why this writing is going the way that it's going, is that they are trying to set it up so that Eugene can be brought back in the fold, because it's going to be, they had to bring somebody back to go, hey, look, Eugene's been helping. He hasn't been a full-on Negan supporter. So Gaberiel comes back to the Saviors in the writing. You had to bring somebody to show, that.
Exactly. That's why
there's constant writing. Dwight will be able to say, oh yeah, Eugene did this to, they're writing it so that somebody can still say that he wasn't fully on their side, even though he was wishy-washy.
He was just following orders.
He's doing whatever he can to survive. He's being a survivor, and I understand that aspect. I just hate that he's the coward that he is, and he will go with whatever side makes him as a survivor.
By the way, son of Maku, our good friend Papa Matt, says, new power couple, Negan and Rick equals Nick. And Polyfuse says and Polyfuse says the only option Eugene has right now is to martyr himself for Rick and the gang.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Yay, he can make a bullet and shoot himself.
Eugene has never been and will never be a martyr. He's a survivor. He's a rat. He's gonna live.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. But the last part of that is where it's basically right in line with the comic book, and it's been talked about for a while. I
think first we should talk about the opening scene where Negan is talking to Eugene, and he's trying to figure out, what are you doing, man? Like,
go ahead if you have thoughts on it.
Oh no, feel free. Yeah,
because it mainly is just him telling Eugene that he knows something's up. Somebody let somebody go, and are you really going to support these guys? They shot at you. So I didn't take too much from it, but if you had some thoughts.
Well, no, I like the way that it was layered back in later when they brought in Gaberiel. But mostly, I mean, it's just that it was showing how cowed Eugene is. Like what we were just talking about. Eugene is, as much as he's tried to resist, his main question when he's told he's going to get an outpost is there going to be one? Like, he just wants to know that he can deal with it in his own personal mind.
Because that's how he gets away. That's how he just forgets. If they are writing him to say that he's still a good guy, that's their excuse for writing. Is like, well, he drinks wine to forget that he's doing bad things.
That's not good, though.
I don't even think it's an excuse. I think it's just the way he tries to live with himself.
I just think that's the way they're writing it. I mean, as an excuse for the writers to tell the fans that are watching that this is why he's still on the side. And look, he drinks to forget. No,
that's their attempt to make him sympathetic.
And I want to welcome Shifty Murderess to the chat. I don't know if they wrote loser or just !SR on purpose, but if we are losers, thank you so much for coming in, and we enjoy your comments. But yeah, it has been talked about for many episodes. Was Negan going to do putting the guts on to Lucille and then using weapons to go with zombie guts and attack Rick's group, which that's what we got at the end of the episode. He almost line for line
from the books,
minus the couple expletives that were there in the book,
without 9 or 10 F-bombs per sentence.
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised that it took this long for people to figure that out.
Well, okay, this is the big problem with it. So this is where people, and I want to know your guys' thoughts on it. People are having a fit with this being in the storyline in the TV show, because how many times in the show have they covered themselves in guts and never had anything happen until it happened to Gaberiel now, and even Rick got cut with a machete that had just killed a zombie and nothing happened to him. So they're changing. People are getting really mad because it seems like they're changing up the writing. So do you think that this is a legit thing? Do you think that they're going to go with the comics, that it will get people infected and things like that? Or do you think it's going to be like a fake out where they go to hit people with all this stuff and it doesn't actually end up doing anything?
This is Malice. Take the first shot there. I know what I think.
You got to remember too, back in episodes, they did say that everyone carries the disease.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the comic books, they're saying that when you get cut with something, or you get their guts in you or whatever, or scratched or bitten, it speeds up the disease.
Okay.
And they did that. They stuck to that in the comic book, and yeah, they've been back and forth with that in the series. But I think they shouldn't bring it in. I thought it was cool that they were going to bring it in, but then that's like going the complete opposite direction, and like they're going more towards the comic book now. They should stay away from it like they have been.
Well, they've started creating their own story, and now they're going right back to it again.
Yeah, they're going back to it. And
Well, here's the thing. Having read the comic books a lot lately, I can see how much they have referenced the comics in the past. And I think that the fact that they even brought this up, that they had that scene, I mean, it is going to work. Continuity be damned. The fact that people got cut with zombie gore covered stuff before, whatever. At this point, since it got brought up as a major plot point, it's gonna work, I think.
So,
and it also, and this is not a spoiler for the TV show, but and I'm even going to be vague about it, but the fact that the gore covered weapons do work leads the way for a character redemption later in the books. So I can't imagine why they would bring it up if they're not going to use it. And that was the main end scene, was Negan coating Lucille in zombie gore. Like, if that's not going to work, then why would they even show it?
Yeah, true. And also too, back, I think in the beginning of the comic books and the TV show, can't remember if it's Rick in the TV show, but I can't remember who says in the comic books, but when they smear themselves to get through the city or something like that, someone says, don't get it in your mouth.
Yes, they always kept it away from their various orifices.
Mm-hmm.
Orifices? Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why Gabriel's just going blind.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of the theory, is that he got some of it in somewhere and it's affecting him, not like a bite, but like an infection of some sort.
Yeah.
Becoming a mutant.
An undead crossbreed?
And this is gonna go, if you're beyond All Out War, then this is gonna be a little bit spoiler territory, but this is what it seems to be setting up. Is it may have given us our answer for what's going on with Rick, with the teary-eyed Rick.
Mm-hmm.
Now Dwight's back with the Saviors. We have zombie gut weapons.
Lucille.
And Rick has a injury on his side. So do we have?
Are you talking about Carl's vision?
No, the actual
when he was passed out against the tree, sure.
Yeah, is it going to go comic book wise? Is it going to be Dwight shooting Rick with an arrow to throw off Negan, thinking
to avoid that, but okay.
Yeah,
I'm asking. No,
would like to see that, because in the comic books that was kind of really good, because Dwight did not shoot Rick with an infected arrow. He shot him with a plain arrow.
Yes, yeah. That's what I'm asking, is are they going to fit the comics on that? Is that what we're getting in that scene?
That's my guess, is that we're going to be following the comic books in that particular instance. Yeah.
So it could be a factor that Rick is praying basically because he thinks he is dying, and
that's it.
That's the whole reason I think that Dwight is even back with the Saviors at all, is to follow that particular storyline.
Okay. So do you think that happening is what's going to make Rick actually turn to understand Carl's thinking on things because of that near death in his own mind experience, and then finding out that he's,
Well, again, and this is where the books and the show are completely different. In the show, Carl's dead. In the books, Carl's still alive.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yes, it could lead him down a similar path, but I don't necessarily believe that we're going down the exact same path.
And they were getting a kick out of your bloodlust, Mrs. Malice, in the chat room. So
My bloodlust.
yes, for wanting to see Eugene kill himself.
Episodes to see my bloodlust, because there wasn't much in this episode to even be bloodlusty about.
So I want to touch on one because I just wanted to touch back to this. I wanted to wait till the end, but one thing when we were talking about is Maggie's plan right, what she's doing and stuff like that. So as we talked about before, there was all the rumors and whatnot that was going on with Lauren Cohen and signing on for season 9. It's gotten more involved where the actor that plays King Ezekiel hit Twitter and said, "Pay the lady."
I saw that. Kari Payton. Yeah.
Please pay her. I don't want to lose Maggie.
Well, what has been detailed is that if this doesn't get all worked out, the pilot that she is with, if it does get picked up, there is a clause in it that she will be able to come back for limited episodes.
Okay.
But not full time for The Walking Dead.
Which makes sense, because again, if they end up following the comic books, they get Alexandra back, and they have Hilltop and the Kingdom, and they're 3 communities that kind of like work together. Is it 4? Yeah, 4.
Saviors as well, Sanctuary, technically.
That's right.
Do you think they'll give her a limited thing, or do you think they'll end up writing her off?
I hope they give her a limited thing. I pray, I want.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was interesting on the new news on that now the other actors are getting involved.
Good.
Maggie's not exactly constantly occurring in the comic book, but she's a big enough part of the storyline that if they lose Lauren Cohan, I'm going to be upset and worry about where it might be going.
She was literally one of the hottest actresses in terms of looking for to have her bring in on stuff this last year during like casting and jobs and stuff, and the fact that Walking Dead won't pay her is just absurd.
Yeah, it's stupid. Pay her, please. I'm saying.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, that was the gist of the show, unless you guys had some other things that you wanted to touch on with the episode. What was least favorite moment or favorite moment of it, if any?
I don't really have a least favorite episode or moment. I kind of felt it was a little dragging the whole time. I felt like Daryl was maybe a little bit out of character with losing his crap over Tara attacking Dwight. I think my favorite part had to be just the swamp zombies.
And I want to welcome.
Zombies were red.
I know it's at the end of the cast. Thank you so much for joining, but welcome Knee 3 Grows to the chat. So,
okay.
If you watched the Walking Dead episode last night, let us know what you thought of the episode. If you hated it, loved it, whatnot. So,
how you doing with your tiki torches?
Yeah, the swamp zombies were pretty good. So, like I said, like you said, the effects were fantastic on them.
Nicotero outdoes himself all the time.
So, yeah. What about you, Mrs. Malice? Did you have a least favorite moment or favorite moment?
Least favorite moment, of course, involves Eugene just being Eugene. My favorite moment, here you go. Here it comes. Blood and guts. When Negan peel into the zombie and like says his little poetic lines. So yeah, that was probably like the highlight of the show for me. Which is bad. Normally it's almost all of it, but
and as mentioned earlier, that's maybe the most comic book significant scene there. Just coating Lucille in zombie guts.
It was almost word for word too from the comic book, which was amazing.
And that was awesome. That's the one thing I wanted to get to. I don't remember. So last week we talked about that Simon's gone against Negan. He's dead. He's screwed.
Oh yeah.
Basically, what Negan's doing now is just doing what Simon did, isn't he? He's ready now just to take all these people out. They're not a resource anymore.
Yeah, but now it's his idea.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he's going to take them all out. I think he just wants to wound a few of them to get him in line, because that's what he did in the comic book. So I think that's going to happen. He doesn't want to hurt all of them. He just wants to scare them. So like, hey, look, I'm smart. I can get to you.
He's going to hurt anybody that comes within range of a cutting weapon coated in zombie gore.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But the other guys, they have the long range weapons.
Support staff, you can live.
Yeah, you guys are okay. Where's your doctors at?
Eugene even calls that out. I think it was in the beginning. He was like, so what all that about people being resources and whatnot? He's like, yeah, but at this point, screw those guys.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. That's it for this week. Next week looks like it's going to be a rip-roaring good time. We're getting some Rick chasing Negan all over the place. We're
getting a car chase.
Yep. So,
a car chase in the zombie apocalypse. What?
Is it gonna have Daryl in the race?
No, and this was interesting enough. This was the first episode of the season that Rick did not appear. So
Rick and Michonne.
Yeah, but that it was just an interesting thing because it's been quite a while since, like, they went back to where Rick appeared usually about 5 or 6 episodes and wouldn't appear in an episode for the last like few seasons. This was the first time that he went a straight 10 episodes.
You saying this episode was Rickless?
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Maybe he was that upset about losing.
Well, it wasn't Rickless because they said, "Open the gate, it's Rick." They just didn't show
that's true. It was semi-Rickless.
So
it's just a soft Rick.
It's just a soft Rick. Yeah, exactly.
The pinch Rick.
And apparently Jack Malice says never to say a rip-roaring good time again because it sounds very wrong from me. And never say Rickless either. Rickless. And Sunamaku says to go get the Swamp Thing winter special from Turbo Comics. So thank you so much for joining us today. If you want to check out some of our friends that help us out with all this stuff and kind of keep a good time going with geek stuff, make sure to check out Battle Mage Brewery in San Diego. Fantastic brewery that has a major focus on all things geek and nerd as well. Magic cards and D&D play and Twitch streams, all types of stuff going on over there. And they have names of beer that are called Goblin's Blood and things like that. So we appreciate you guys coming out and joining us. And as always, please check us out on malice-corp.com. That's where all of our article writing is. You can also come back to here anytime and rewatch the videos and leave extra comments if you want to let us know some of your new thoughts on what happened. And you can follow us on youtube.com/c/Malice Corp as well, where we have some stuff come up there and you can give us comments on that. Let's talk about where we can follow the rest of the cast. Mr. Zorro, where can we follow you?
I am at ICZorro on both Twitter and Instagram. Yeah.
He's got it he's got that name on lock.
Oh yeah. Nobody else has ever had that screen name that I know of.
Yeah.
So if you want to preempt me on a website title or something, feel free.
J-Date. They're gonna go get it.
You can have the H-Day one.
And Mrs. Malice, I know you don't have anywhere to follow you specifically, but as always, you can follow at Malice Corp on Twitter or at Jack_Malice on Twitter. And both of those will get to Mrs. Malice. And she loves talking about The Walking Dead. So always make sure to let those tweets know that you're posing a question to her.
The bloodier, the better.
Yes. Yes. You can follow me on Twitter at Mest5150. I'm sorry. That's Instagram is Mest5150. You can follow me on Twitter at Mest_Malice Corp. And you can also follow everything we do on Facebook in the Facebook group for MaliceCast Live, All Things Nerd. Just look it up on Facebook. We're there. We love getting info from you and everything like that. We will be back next Monday, 9 p.m. to talk about episode 12. And I don't have the name for it, but it will be episode 12 of season 8. And make sure to come and join us on Friday at 8 p.m. to talk all things nerd on MaliceCast Live, where we talk nerd news that has happened throughout the week. If there's a story that you would like us to discuss and talk about, make sure to send us a tweet or jump onto the Facebook page and let us know what you'd like to see us discuss. With that, I do bid you adieu.